So this is kind of our little private session, so I'm not going to do the whole introduction thing, okay? This is just for you and I. So what we're going to do today, Susan, this is the part about Moxie I don't like because I can't talk to you, but we'll figure it out. So we're going to lie down on our backs and let's go ahead and bring ourselves into constructive rest pose. So knees are going to knock together, feet are going to be wide, and that just allows the low back to immediately kind of release. So lying down. And let's just take ourselves just kind of here where we are right now, quiet the mind. As the knees knock together, just find a space that feels comfortable. So you may need to toe heel the feet in a little more or a little less, or maybe need to open them up a little bit more. Just let your body rest down here. Rest the low back. Let it kind of find its place. Let it settle in. Let the shoulders expand out to the side, the clavicles wide, and let's just take a few nice big deep breaths to the belly. And some nice deep sighs out of the mouth. And as you're breathing out, see if the low back can just release down a little bit. Letting the breath have its journey here. So noticing the inhale, noticing the exhale. Taking the breath on a journey all the way down to the deep crevices of the belly. As you exhale, imagine you're like a balloon being deflated, and there's no tension, no stretching, no nothing, and the shoulders just naturally start to pull away from the ears. The low back, the back of the upper back, the shoulders, even the arms may even start to externally rotate as you kind of let the shoulders drift away, and the hands might want to just open away from the floor. Close your eyes if it feels okay. Take another couple of deep breaths. Wonderful. Now from here, let's separate the knees and gently start to swivel the knees in and out. And I want you to be really just conscious of the movement here. Finding some flow, no pressure. Spreading the low back into the mat. And just allowing this flow to kind of be dictated by what feels right. You may even see that spreading of the low back across from hip to hip, spreading out wide. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way slowly back in towards center and reset the feet towards the center of our body. So kind of hip distance apart. And if you have your yoga block easily accessible, we're going to go ahead and come into a supported bridge pose. So engage through the glutes, press into the heels, and gently lift the sacrum enough so that you can set the yoga block underneath. Now from here, just let your sacrum kind of rest all the way down, flat onto the block. Take the right knee and draw it in towards your heart. Set the right foot down, take the left knee in towards your heart. Set the left foot down, Take both knees in towards your heart. You might need to shimmy your body a little bit if you need to. Just make whatever adjustments are necessary. And then from here, go ahead and set your right foot down. Extend the left leg long. And I want you just to gently take that left hand, the left and right hand, and just guide the knee towards center, but without hip hiking, just find that length towards the center. You can even flex into the heels. Give the back of the legs a little stretch. Maybe even take a moment to massage the back of the hamstrings if they're feeling particularly tight. Remembering that the low back might feel uncomfortable, but it's usually a symptom of other areas of the body. So maybe it's your hips are tight, maybe your hamstrings are tight, maybe your glutes are tight, maybe your QL is tight. So there's other factors that come into play here. Terrific. Bend your left knee, reset the left foot down to the floor, take the right thigh in, extend the right leg. Set that right hip down. Maybe flex the heel. Give the length in the back of the hamstrings, maybe massaging the hamstrings up and down. Massage the quads as you do that if you'd like to. Just giving that opportunity to release the hamstrings, release the back of the knee. And then if you want, we can go ahead and bend into that right knee and set it back down. Beautiful. Now from here, let's go ahead and we're going to lift our sacrum off so that we're going to take that block and set it down to the floor. And with the feet hip distance apart, we're going to flow into some bridges. So take the hands to the side and we're going to tilt the pelvis so the low back is flat and start to engage to the glutes as you press into the heels, opening up the front of the body here. And I want you today just to focus on opening of the hips. This is a strengthening exercise of the glutes in the back of the body, but with our intention today, we're going to take our knees and imagine they're reaching over the toes, opening up the front of the hips. Set the sacrum down and then repeat. So exhale, tilt, peel yourself off the ground, energize through the glutes, and just flow here in these flowing bridges. Lowering and lifting, using the core, spreading out the clavicles wide, hands resting on the floor. And really just flowing from one to the other here. And as you exhale, just as we started, take that exhale and let that exhale just release your body. Let your body just be really nice and chilled out. No tension. Wonderful. And let's do one more. And reset your sacrum back to the floor and take your knees in towards your chest. And we're just going to rock our body side to side, massaging the spine, massaging the low back. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, come back in towards center. Reset your feet down to the floor. We're going to grab our strap this time. So we're going to keep our left knee bent and we're going to take the strap underneath the right foot. Now, because we're really taking care of our back today, Susan, it's nice to keep the left foot bent, but if you're comfortable and you want to extend the left leg, you can. I'm going to keep mine bent. It just feels a bit better for me, but you can absolutely extend it out. So from here, we're going to take the strap and set it underneath the right foot, and we're going to bend and stretch or bend and lengthen. And as you're lengthening, I want you to think about pressing that heel towards the sky, really inviting that long muscle to extend out long. And you can flex in through the heel, just giving the back of the legs every opportunity to find their range. And don't feel like you have to fully extend and lock through the knees. Think more of this as an opportunity to lengthen and release the muscle. This also invites that opening to lengthen the back of the glutes, the back of the low back area, stretching out the hamstrings. Just allows you to kind of stretch that whole area out really nice and comfortably. Beautiful. And then the next time you find your leg fully extended, keep the strap there. And we're going to round the toes. So I want your toes to come towards the heels, like you're scrunching the toes towards the center. And then you're going to turn your foot towards the left side of the room. And here we're just going to get that whole right side of the shin muscle, the anterior tibialis, to stretch. Beautiful. Come back through center. Keep that rounding and then turn the foot in the opposite direction, stretching out the peroneals, the muscle that connects the ankle to the knee. Here, you might even get that added kind of stretch through the sole of the foot as well. Beautiful. And then come back right back through center. Now, we're going to take the strap here and we're going to do some gentle circular motions with the leg. And I want you to just move really quietly in a circular motion, kind of hitting all the different points of the hip joint here. So with the left hip kind of connected down to the floor, you're really keeping everything really stable here with the exception of this movement of the right leg. Kind of just twirling around all these different areas of the circle. Beautiful. And then when you want to, you could reverse the direction, move it in that opposite way. Just kind of circulating around, kind of touching all the different points. Again, it might feel different from one movement to the other. Good. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come back through center and we'll bend the knee, release the foot from the strap, set it down, and go ahead and take that left foot into the strap. But we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So just beginning with that left leg extended, right knee can be bent. You can absolutely lengthen out the right leg. Begin just with a gentle hamstring stretch here. Stretching out the back of the legs, keeping the hips really nice and square. And then if you can, go ahead and we're going to bend and stretch the leg, just kind of moving into that intentional lengthening of the muscle. As you're bending, you're just reaching long. Beautiful. And last one. Next time you find yourself lengthened, create that C curve with the foot and then rotate that ankle so it's turning towards the right side of your room. We're creating that nice little C curve of the foot here, toes towards heel, stretching out the anterior tibialis. And then make your way back in towards center, arching the foot towards the opposite direction. Still that C curve. You're just like opening up the inside of the inner of the shin muscles here. Great. And then come back in towards center. With the leg fully extended, we're going to create some circles. Some gentle movements, kind of working through some gentle rotations, kind of Notice how this foot might feel different than the other, this leg. You want to imagine that the ball and joint are kind of just swiveling around in that socket here. Really nice. Good. Maybe next time you come up through center, you'll reverse in the opposite direction. And again, you want to stay pretty grounded into that right hip, so there's not really any shifting of weight. The strap is just there to kind of offer some guidance. Terrific. And next time you make your way back in towards center, we'll go ahead and bend that knee, and we're going to take the strap off, and then we'll cross the right ankle directly over the left ankle over the right knee. Now here, we'll just go ahead and just let that left hip open. Now, normally, sometimes this may be just the right amount of a hip opener. So maybe if you're kind of dealing with some low back issues, you don't want to drive the right thigh in towards center. If it feels okay for you to, you can. It's entirely up to you. Just because it's an offering doesn't mean you have to take it. So just listen to what feels good on your body here. And try to kind of ease into that left hip, whether you bring the knee in towards center or just rest your foot down. So it's whatever feels good for you. Good. And then go ahead and reset your right foot down to the floor. Unwind the left from the right. Take the right ankle over the left. Open up that right hip. Here again, we're just easing that opening, letting it just kind of fall open. Maybe you pull that left thigh in. It's up to you. Fantastic. Set your left foot down if it was lifted. Unwind your right, and then we're going to go back and grab that strap one more time. So beginning with the left foot, we're going to extend through the right leg. So we'll go ahead and lengthen it out. And I'd like you to extend that left leg and really plug that femur joint where into that hip. So we're really nice and lengthened out of the leg. We're not kind of hip, the left hip is not lifted. We're going to take that left arm out to a half T, pull using the core. We're going to twist over towards the right. So want to keep that hip aligned and kind of plugged in. So we're not kind of down below, but really just kind of keeping it and kind of at a 90-degree angle. The more you're able to kind of facilitate that lift and that positioning of the hip joint, the better able you're going to get into that IT bend. And also from a structural standpoint, you'll be a little bit safer, a bit more of an effective stretch or effective lengthening. Good. And let's make our way back in towards center. Strap into the left hand, and we're going to still plug into that left hip joint and open up towards the left side, opening up the inner thigh here. So again, you want to think of that hip joint just staying where it's meant to stay. This will open up the inner thighs, really stretch out those muscles, the adductor complex. Terrific. Using those inner thigh muscles, pull back up through center. Bend into the left knee. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So take the strap underneath the right foot, extend out the leg. We'll begin by really plugging in the hip. Take the right arm out and then go ahead and twist towards the left. So here, because we want to be careful that there's no twisting through the low back, you want to pull in with that right hip. so that you've got everything aligned here. And that's really important whenever you do twists like this. Most of the twisting happens in the upper part of the spine. Very little movement happens in the low part of the spine. Beautiful. Come back through center, grab hold of the strap into the right hand and extend out to the right side, opening up the inner thigh. Same idea, keep the hips aligned. And then go ahead and pull up through center. Great. And let's release the strap from the foot. And we're going to go ahead and roll onto our all fours position. So let's go ahead and make our way into tabletop. And before we come into cat-cow, what I'd like us to do is just kind of sway the hips side to side, just with the intention of kind of loosening up the spine, loosening up the low back, just kind of find a bit of flow here. Fantastic. And then whenever you're ready, you'll come back in towards center, and then we're going to do some hip rotations. So taking the right hip towards the right heel and just gently glide it down over to the left and then pull back up. And just allow for some movement through the shoulders. So go ahead and create almost if you can, like a figure eight. That's kind of like what I like to kind of look at this as. It's just creating this movement, upper body, lower body, and drawing that 8 shape. Beautiful. The next time you make your way into all fours, you'll shift directions, the left hip towards left heel, pull up through the right. And what I like to kind of explore here, Susan, is really kind of pulling into my hip joint. So really kind of massaging that joint by really pressing the hip out. And again, this is going to vary from person to person. So if it feels good for you, if it feels all right on the low back, if it feels comfortable, go ahead and explore that. Just kind of loosens up the hip. Beautiful. Let's do one more. And then we'll make our way back to tabletop. Beautiful. And then from here, making our way into tabletop, let's do a few cat-cows. So inhale, arch the low back, open up the heart. Exhale, empty the belly, engage through the inner thighs, round through the spine, let the crown of the head drift down to the floor. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, empty the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Great. Let's do one more. Great. Make your way back towards tabletop. Good job. Let's go ahead and swing those legs all the way forward. We're going to make our way into staff pose. Now, maybe just for today, Susan, you'll take your strap because this actually can feel really nice on the low back to straighten out the low back. So if you take the strap and set it underneath your feet, and again, lengthen out the legs. So first we're going to get that little stretch in the hamstrings. But rather than collapsing down, what we're going to do is we're going to lean in, but use that strap as that guide. So we're going to give the hamstrings a little stretch, but we're going to be really careful to keep the back long. Beautiful. And the toes flexed. That's going to get the back of the legs extended. And it's kind of a subtle forward fold. It's not this collapsing forward fold. You're really still being active through the spine. So I want you to imagine I've got a little line that's pulling you forward just enough to get the glutes really stretched out here. Good. And then restack the spine. Beautiful. And let's release the strap. And we'll go into Baddha Konasana. So our butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. Make sure the flesh of our glutes are kind of moved away so we can connect into the sits bones. Open up the knees wide, shoulders roll back. And here you can maybe cradle the toes and come forward. It doesn't have to be, again, a big forward fold, but maybe enough so that you get into the hips, but you may even get into that low back. Maybe you get that little low back stretch. Fantastic. Restack the spine. Come back through center. Great job. Let's go ahead and crisscross our feet, coming into a seated position. We're going to do a little rotation here. So let's go ahead and extend the arms overhead and then twist towards the left. Rest the right hand on the left knee, but stay tall and then twist. Don't twist into the back here. Keep your belly button kind of facing towards the front of your room. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale over to the other side. Good. Unwind, come back through center. Beautiful. And set it down. Nice job. Let's just do a little neck rotations. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, come back right through towards center. Drop the chin towards the chest, soften the shoulders. And lift up. Beautiful. Let's take a big inhale and exhale. Breathe in. Palms pressed together. Exhale to your heart. May your heart always stay warm. May your smile always stay broad. And may the light that shines in me honor and see the light that shines in you. Namaste. Wonderful. Thank you, Susan. Let me turn the class off so I can chat with you.